LGD are going to go for, whether they go for that Lucian Nami themselves, or if they go more along the lines of like a Xayah or maybe even a Jhin. Interesting lock-in here for LPC, you would assume, but we have seen the tiniest bit of Jhin support as well.
Yeah, Jhin is going to be able to get flexed to either ADC or support. If it does end up being an ADC Jhin, that does mean LGD is looking for a very strong topside trio paired up with the Sejuani. A lot of melee champions being considered. Vi is going to be the natural response for BLG, as they also pick support here. Really depends on what On is comfortable with. I think a Heimerdinger will be completely fine as you are up against Jhin. Really depends though.
It certainly does. So we'll see. It's going to be the Gnar again. Bin deciding that that was not the issue. Jax is banned this time, saying, okay, I'm happy with the Gnar. Even though he picked it into the Jax last time, the Jax definitely took control of that lane. Yone being hovered right now for LGD. Could be mid, could be up in the top side to go up against that Gnar either. And it will be locked in. So the Yone there. I would presume that's for the top lane, since we already know what the enemy top lane is, but could just be a mid lane blind and using those bans.
Yeah, definitely looking like a blind Yone for Haichao in this game 3 as they ban out Ahri. I mean, even on BLG, Gnar is the blind for Bin, so both of these solo laners having a lot of options in terms of what they want to counter it with. We saw Bin's Gnar performance in game 2 definitely didn't look the best, so hopefully he is able to redeem himself with this game 3, because this is one of his most played champions and he shouldn't be performing that lackadaisically.
No, absolutely not. Renata to get off the board. You'd anticipate another mid laner to be removed here. Will be the LeBlanc. So kind of these AP burst assassins taken off of the board by LGD in the mid lane. The LG trying to set up for Bin, right? We've already got a Jax ban. We've got a Renekton banned out now. Trying to remove some of the picks that do well into the Gnar. I mean, there's an argument to be made for removing a Yasuo. Technically, is that secret Gnar tech up at the top side you lock Yasuo into.
Full AP support on here.
Yeah, probably not today. Ksante being hovered by LGD.
Yep, that does mean the mid laner, all the mobile mid laners have been taken off the board by LGD. Ksante is going to get locked in as the response. So top lane, very snooze fest matchup to say the least, but BLG gonna pick up something of their own that is gonna match extremely well with Varus. I mean, Renata, with the amount of going forward that LGD has, this is going to be a perfect response. You have to be aware that what if LGD picks something with a wall? I don't know, maybe like Brom.
Yeah, we'll have to see. As it's just the support remaining for the side of LGD. They're against a very long-range bottom lane. They've got a Jhin themselves. Annie, we've not talked about all draft, but has snuck through till the final pick. Could be an Annie support angle where you can use that Tibbets to guarantee the engage for your team.
It is going to be the Heimerdinger locked in for the final pick of LGD, but I need to highlight that Yagao has defaulted back onto his comfort. This Taliyah will be coming back for the third and final match in the series up against LGD, where it is just comfort versus comfort in this mid lane, but we need to remember Taliyah into champions like Ksante, Sejuani, and Yone that want to go forward. If they're able to play alongside those chokes, BLG is looking very favorable already in these team fights.
Yeah, if they can get to those team fights, it just depends on some of the shenanigans that can occur with a Yone in the mid lane, a Ksante from the top side. He's a big playmaking champions, but had some pretty slow games here today. I'm hoping for a bit of a scrap between these two teams. Like, we've certainly got the champions to make it happen. JinJiao trying to get some turrets out early on, but just gets denied by On in the end. As LPC has to back away here. We'll lose control of the river. Can On move forwards.
Pretty surprised that LGD didn't come towards this ball lane as a 5-man unit to save JinJiao's little Heimerdinger towers, as On just walked in by himself and killed them off as the Renata. But I guess that is going to be a reason behind Bin trying to stay in his lane first, as he doesn't want to lose that lane priority when it comes to the bushes.
Yeah. Let's talk junglers though, as we kick this one off. Meteor up on the top side, likely to start either the red or those chickens. whereas Shun's starting on that bottom side. So opposite pathing once again. Might be a bit difficult to influence that top lane, but I will say, if you're going to find a kill onto a Ksante, early levels is definitely the opportunity to be able to get into that lane.
Most definitely. Both junglers are going to be starting their own red buff solo. But something that I've been missing from the current meta is we used to have Sejuani just spiking at level 3 and going into the enemy jungle and just straight up solo killing someone like the Vi, and they get their lead from that. But a lot of the junglers have passive doubt and they are just going to play towards their laner. But like I've been saying, this mid lane is going to be very crucial in terms of priority, as we do have a Taliyah pushing in the Yone, but if this Yone gets out of control, the Taliyah can't handle him in the side. So the champion pool and the way he played, so he doesn't have as much freedom to play towards his side lanes. But however, they let that through.
They certainly did. We're back into the game though. We're kicking this one off. As apologies for the minor delay there, everyone, but we are going to start with a bit of a whiff from On. Immediately turned around, a good stun comes out from JinJiao, and Elk feeling the brunt of his support's miss, but Shun, moving towards this bottom lane, will be spotted on that ward. LGD should have full information here. Meteor coming in behind him. They should have a pinch. Elk low on HP, so he couldn't even get involved. The root flashed away from by Shun, but that is 2 summoners now burnt for BLG.
Ooh, a lot of aggressive plays from BLG, but the execution just wasn't there as On's CC just goes wide. And we need to remember both bot laners don't have that heal, so Elk is extremely poked out. He is going to chug some of those pots, but no heal means you have to play extremely careful, as the Heimerdinger was able to land the CC onto you and get you to lower than half HP. Shun already burning that flash, however, does mean he has to flood.
Yeah, Shun has to be cautious, has to try and make sure that his time is used effectively as well, because, again, this is a player that can take over a game, given the right opportunity. But Meteor, a good start, punishing the enemy jungler, and now finishing his full clear as well after getting that bottom crab. Xiaoxu pretty far pushed up, but does have quite a deep ward there, as Shun will finish this skull crab off himself, potentially could look up towards that top lane.
I love the wards from LGD, both in the river from the top laner and the bottom lane, as it's already spotted Shun twice in this river, so it's very nice in terms of diffusing the play, as they are currently down 2 summoners.
Yeah, fantastic stuff from LGD. Haichao with the blind Yone in the mid lane. I'm looking towards what he can pull off in this one. His Ari looking fantastic in the previous game. Lots of big moments that I feel like we didn't talk that much about Haichao in the previous one, but he was a crucial core member of LGD in the previous game. Certainly has the mechanics to show off. It's just whether or not he can find those opportunities, with Shun waiting in the wings of the mid lane. Can't be too aggressive for the time being.
There's going to be a 2v2 in this top side. Meteor there first.
Yeah, and Bin already so low on HP. The Permafrost will be stacked, stunned up. Bin flashes and taken down. Bin just having an atrocious series, it has to be said.
Yeah, the flash was extremely late as he got to 1 HP. I mean, that was just followed up with a flash order from Meteor as well. And the first blood goes into the hands of Meteor, although not devastating as he is on a utility jungler. But that just means Bin, once again, not in his form for this Gnar.
No, I guess trying to set up for Shun, but just not respecting how low HP he had. Haichao's already level 6. Just dives underneath the enemy tower, pops the ult, and one-shots on. Beautiful stuff here from LGD.
I like how he targets directly at On, punishing him for the flash burn earlier, and that does result in a kill into the Heimerdinger's pockets. Not the worst, as the Heimerdinger does provide a lot of poke, but it's 1v1 in this top side.
Xiaoxu is about to solo kill Bin again. This is insane. The performance we're seeing from Xiaoxu is monumental. They're all out to force Bin out of lane. No TP available for Bin. Meteor in that side of the jungle as well, so Bin just has to get out of dodge.
Get out. I mean, the wave is slowly pushing towards Bin, so it's not terrible, but you are once again so low. I mean, Meteor is just hovering by the sides of the jungle. Yeah, this could look like a dive.
Oh, Bin, you should have channeled that recall. He wanted the wave, but he's not getting it either way. Meteor's there. and an easy kill for Xiaoxu, who is dominating the top lane.
Once again, a very terrible start for Bin. Misses out on 2 waves. Yagao does pick it up, but this Gnar being behind once again just means he's going to be so squishy in those team fights. So I'm getting really worried for BLG. This could be a repeat of game 2.
Yep, Scuttle Crab being contested by Jhin here, but Meteor will dash away, grab the crab in the end, and move off with his life. So Jhin not able to find the objective for himself, even between the junglers in terms of CS, but Meteor having a much better impact in this one. And it feels like just leads across the board for LGD.
It's not too hard when your laners are just winning by themselves, as we see a lot of mechanical mistakes out of BLG in this early game. So Meteor definitely exposing their weakness there as well by ganking it and putting the top lane behind. Even Haichao just walked by himself to this bottom lane, picked up a kill as an assist, and went back to mid. He just took a stroll.
It was honestly the most casual kill I've ever seen, I think, where he just, like you say, strolls down, bashes his R-key. You know that On doesn't have the flash, and just grabs that kill and just strolls back up. It was practically like he pressed his E in the mid lane and just snapped straight back to that lane again after the play.
I could think of the gif that you were talking about where Yone goes from like the base and he presses E and he just goes across the map. It was hilarious. But the first dragon is going to get picked up by LGD, where Meteor extremely proactive again in this early game as he's level 6.
Yeah, this could be a 3v3. Jhin just dives straight over the wall, trying to finish off LPC. No flash available for him, but Meteor there to help his AD carry out, and Jhin has to flash back out. Curtain call comes through, on call up and finished off by LPC. The 4th shot will land as well as a little cherry on top. LGD 4-0, 2,000 gold lead, first straight, everything going their way.
Yagao didn't have that ultimate available. I mean, health is extremely low.
I'm speechless.
You can't flash an ignite auto, bro. You can't flash that elk. You had to burn it earlier. This double kill onto JinJiao just means the Heimerdinger is getting stronger little by little with the blasting wand as well. But talking about the play that happened previously, I thought it was a winning play for BLG because you have someone like the Taliyah that can just insert themselves in. But on roaming towards his top lane, having the flash available.
Yeah, jumps on forwards, pulls the Ksante back into the play. All out, pulls better. No way to Xiaoxu pull that off. On will go down as well. Xiaoxu making his statement in the LPL. Double kill for him, surviving the damage from Yagao. Finally falls, but Meteor.
Xiaoxu is looking like a different being in this top lane. 1v2s, denies the kill from BLG, even burning summoners. Yagao does kill him in the very end, but what does that mean? A 0-3 Gnar on your side, and a Ksante that already has his mythic online. We're going to take another look at the replay. This is bottom lane, where the ultimate from Vi connects onto LPC, but he flashes straight away, so no follow-up from BLG. And Yagao didn't have ult in this instance where Haichao gets here first. So this was just a terrible play that was pulled out by the bottom lane of LGD, and Haichao picking up this kill from a screen away. But that top lane 1v2 was absolutely insane as the Jhin connects a W. Elk was a little bit too greedy to burn the flash as he dies as a result as well. But we need to take another look as On is on his way to this top side as Bin starts the 1v with 85% of his resistance as On flashes in, lands a CC, but Bin misses his own follow-up CC, ulties into the tower and gets the kill onto Bin as On also not having enough damage to finish off this Ksante. Does miss his Q, but it doesn't matter because he just has a dash and a 3-second cooldown.
Yeah, we're so close. But 3-1-1 now. Xiaoxu will be over the moon, and Bin 0-3 On 0-3. Both ex-Suning players. I'm just saying. I'm struggling here. As I don't know, BLG just where's the team that played in game number 1? It feels like they've completely mental boomed in game 3.
1-7 scoreline.
Yeah, 3 plates taken in the mid lane as well. And now we see LPC just clearing away these waves. Should be able to get himself a recall off. Shield bow finished by Elk, is going for the on-hit Varus build this time around. And rightly so with the Ksante and a Sejuani on the enemy team. I don't think you're going to get much value out of the lethality build in this kind of game. But also the shield bow will help him against stuff like Haichao trying to dive onto him, right? You need that bit of lifesteal, that extra shield to come in to keep yourself alive.
Most definitely. He needs every help he can get because these side lanes are looking pretty terrible for the side of BLG in this early game. But it's not just been playing a little bit off. On this Renata, I mean, he is desperately trying to get things done, but you don't need to. You don't need to be making these risky plays where you burn the flash and then you have no way of escaping. As LGD having so much gap close with this team composition, he's really getting exposed for his mistakes.
Certainly is. Drake up in 10 seconds. LGD with the first already, but BLG all in a singular brush here. Doesn't look like Meteor's gonna go for the face check, and BLG won't find themselves that little advantage that they were searching for. Will be denied for now. And they can just start this one off. They can start this comfortably because Yagao in mid lane currently will have the Weaver's Wall available to join the play. Should a play occur, but I'm not really sure the BLG can contest at this point. The 3,000 gold down. Maybe a steal from Shun, but no. Dread taken. Well, El got a hail of arrows on them, so I'd say that's worth for BLG. A worthwhile trade is all out in the top side. Xiaoxu, desperate to just continue the pressure in that top lane. Elk getting caught by the curtain call here. The stun's not going to land. The fourth shot available as Meteor jumped out himself, and actually, this could be bad news for LGD. The root's coming on through. Shun forced away by the rest of the team, and JinJiao over the wall. Nobody going down. Many abilities on both sides.
A lot of skill shots were getting thrown, but nothing dies in the very end. Like you said, as JinJiao was the only one that was caught out of position, but all that meant was a flash being burned as Haichao is just chowing down on this tier 1 tower. Once this tier 1 tower goes down, it does open up the map a lot more for LGD. I mean, we saw how oppressive this Sejuani is playing with the vision control that JinJiao has provided earlier with that dragon. A lot of great things for LGD so far.
Yeah, certainly have been. LGD very much in control, right? Objectives have been going their way. They've got the Herald, they've got both Drakes. Nobody taking any towers just yet, but I think they're definitely eyeing that up as a potential opportunity, especially in the mid lane. But just, I mean, even just laning has been going their way. Solo kills coming out for Xiaoxu, a 2v1 earlier on in the game, but JinJiao and LPC playing well in the bottom side as well on this Jhin Heimerdinger, which is it's a duo we've not really been seeing as much of. We saw it in the previous patch a fair bit, but feels like it kind of fell out of fashion. But LGD showing that it can still definitely work.
Most definitely, and especially with Meteor being the back man of everything, as he is there for every single play. But most definitely Xiaoxu does stand out as the player of the game or series for LGD, as he is just getting everything done in that top side. Already having so much control over this Herald, I mean, it is going to be extremely tough trying to face check. You do have a bit of items coming online for BLG, not the Mikhails just quite yet, however, so if one person gets CC'd, they look like they're going to be dead.
Yeah, they certainly do. Scuttle Crab taken, Xiaoxu looking for Yagao. This could be bad news for Yagao. Force the flash already, all out available. Pulls him away from the tower. I don't know if he'll have the damage to actually finish.
He's dead!
Yes, he does. Yes, he does. Xiaoxu is a monster at the top lane.
He burns the flash from Yagao as well, but there's more.
Oh, the instant cleanse from Elk. That was clean, and now Meteor could be the one in trouble instead. Is everything turned around? But no, I'm totally wrong. Shun doesn't have the damage. He goes down. 1-for-1 on the junglers here. His LBC charges forward. Dancing grenade there. The root goes wide. But the curtain call. Fancy footwork required from BLG. Last shot. Not enough to finish on.
But who's gonna deal with Xiaoxu on this side lane? Bin was already so behind in terms of gold. Yagao tries his best, but burning the flash, it doesn't matter because Xiaoxu just has so much gap closing on this Ksante, burning the ultimate and just straight up slaps him to death. The Herald also goes into the hands of LGD as well, where although a 1-for-1 trade, it doesn't matter because Haichao is just autoing that thing down. But Xiaoxu just goes in and engages onto Yagao, lands the Q3 and burns the flash here, but it's not enough because he just has so much gap close and Yagao falls as a response.
Yeah.
And this middle play, I believe it was LGD being the aggressors as they throw the ultimate onto Elk. A really good cleanse from the Varus, but it doesn't matter because there's just way too much follow-up CC as Jhin tries his best to counter gank this. There's no damage from BLG just quite yet. Although 1-for-1 as On landed a pretty nasty flash ultimate, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, so 1-for-1 in the end. Elk managing to survive just about, but it's jungler for jungler. As committed to the fight at that point, so punished. And it does mean that Elk's got himself a kill. Headed towards Rage Blade as his second item there. As you can see, the Rage Knife picked up the kiddie version of the Rage Blade. Xiaoxu wants to defend this top lane tower. He's got teammates moving over as well. I don't think BLG can take this fight.
But when can BLG really take a fight? They have to work with this Taliyah with that global ultimate and play towards the side. But even Haichao looking extremely fed.
Okay, he backs away. Yeah, this has been a tough game. This has been a really tough game. The fact that Jhin actually uses his TP, can't defend the tower anyway. He obviously expected Haichao to back away, but Haichao ain't scared.
Yep. Haichao was not scared at all. Just Eden ordered the tower down and was looking like he wanted to kill Bin anyways. It's like one of those deals where you buy one, get one free. For Haichao, he is playing the game of his series, the series of his life, as the third dragon also going to the hands of LGD.
Yeah, phenomenal stuff coming out from LGD. I can't believe it, but it's feeling like we're going to have an upset today, as LPC actually going to use the curtain call onto On here. Shun's there to block the shots. No way he should finish the kill off. But look at this. I mean, 5,000 gold lead, 3 Drakes for LGD, and in 4.5 minutes time, our 5th Drake will spawn. It's an Infernal Soul, which makes everything that much worse for BLG, but it's not like they're going to hit some massive vital breakpoint in the next 5 minutes that's going to turn this game around for them. Like, this feels like LGD are in prime position to take the game. Haichao uses his ultimate to keep himself safe. Has flash available here, but the whole squad is here from BLG. They're desperate for the kill, and Yagao will claim it.
That's exactly what they were looking for. Like you've been saying, Munch, they don't have a hard scaling composition, but they can play up picks, and that's exactly what Haichao gave them, a chance to come back into this game. Another kill falls into Yagao's hands, but will it be enough for this Taliyah to really carry the entire team as everyone is behind in gold? Mikhails is going to get picked up for On, so it's definitely going to save them a little bit in those team fights. Haichao getting a little bit greedy with being over pushed in the side. The Vi ultimate connects over the wall. Pretty unfortunate as he still has the flash here, but he decided to flash to the side and not into his own tower. And with the amount of follow-up from BLG, that kills go into Yagao.
Yeah, I feel like, I'm not 100% sure, but I think Haichao's dash on his Q is actually denied by the Weaver's Wall there. I couldn't quite make it out in the slow-mo, but it felt like that might have just been Yagao's ultimate securing the kill. So if that was the case, very nicely done from him. And if not, hey, still a nice kill. We'll take those. Everyone going to be dropped to the top side for LGD.
But this 4-1 in Ksante having 2 items available. He does so much damage for a full tank. Riot!
Yeah, Ksante, kind of insane in the current version of the game, at very least.
And they're going to start the Baron. Although with the Jhin, they do have the Heimerdinger to make up for the lack of damage. Jhin spots this.
Certainly does. Then trying to make his way over, but no TP for the top laner, and Engage kicks off. Shun forced to flash out of the play.
Oh, Haichao
in trouble. Good knock up there. As Shun moves into the
pit.
It's taken by Elk. A huge steal for BLG and LGD. They needed to stop DPS.
The Baron goes into the hands of BLG, a reviving breath as Elk steals it with an empowered Q. This is exactly what you're looking for, an angle to come back into the game. LGD did not need to flip that as a 50-50 smite battle. I mean, Vi was pretty far away from smiting it. Meteor just completely missed it with his own smite and gave Elk the Baron over. I mean, if we take another look at this replay, the Ksante was just occupying Shun the entire time where he wasn't able to get into the pit, but Elk with the empowered Q saves the day and steals it on how much HP was it? on 256 HP. And BLG, they look like they're gonna come back.
Absolutely cracked from Elk to be able to find that Baron. The timing is immaculate. Is it enough is the question. A miracle for BLG, a shining light coming from the AD carry. And I will say Elk has been one of the better players today. He has been consistently trying to find his way into these games. Will it be enough? Because LGD still a massive advantage. Still 4,000 gold up, still soul spawning in 50 seconds. But the Baron might just be enough for BLG to get control of the river and play towards this next Drake.
Yeah, most definitely. This Baron does get taken off and goes into the hands of BLG, where this Jhin is going to struggle a little bit with that mid lane party and wave state. But like you said, Dragon spawning in 30. Mikhails does get used here.
Yeah, Call comes out as well. Shun is gone. That was so fast. They find a pick onto the jungler. I don't think Shun even realized he was the one in trouble. He's trying to protect on. But they just flip, go for the target that can go for the smite. And just as we're praising BLG, just as it felt like they had an opportunity with this Baron, Shun goes down. And that should guarantee the Drake for LGD. There shouldn't be any way BLG can find this.
Shun had to remember that he didn't have Radiant Virtue just quite yet, so he's extremely squishy, especially up against a lethality Jhin, but no...
It's all on Elk as Xiaoxu looking to jump over the wall here. 3k on the Dragon. Elk shoots to it, and in goes Haichao. They don't just want a Dragon, they want the fight as well. And they'll find it. Both carries taken out. And BLG picked apart here by LGD. Dragon Soul, 15-3, a 6,000 gold lead. LGD making a statement with a huge upset here.
LGD looking to take the series to a 2-1 in their favor, taking the entirety of this bottom side and pushing in this mid lane tower. I mean, these solo laners and everyone on LGD having a fantastic series to finish off the night.
LGD, a team so far down in the standings. A team I don't think anyone was expecting to come in swinging today. But here we are, 3-7 on the standings, and they want to turn that into a 4-7. They want to tie themselves up with WE in 12th place. And you know, with a win like this, it's possible that LGD can make it into playoffs. The problem that they've got is their schedule still has a lot of big teams on it. But what a performance today. If they can upset BLG, maybe they can upset other teams as well. Look at that knockup from Haichao.
And the Inferno Soul added on top of that just means there's so much damage from the side of LGD. No one's surviving that with the amount of CC that Haichao was able to provide. But like you said, taking down BLG could potentially be the first step of guaranteeing a playoffs position for LGD. If they continue this dominating performance, especially from Xiaoxu, as he is definitely having the series of his life for 2023, it is looking very promising.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Bin has been taken apart. And with how Xiaoxu has been playing, like, I'm not saying Bin has played perfectly or anything like that, but maybe this bad series that Bin's having is less about how Bin is playing and more about how dominant Xiaoxu has been up in that top side. Because, you know, my eyes are open now. I didn't realize Xiaoxu was a big name in the LPL, but this guy is looking insane today, and I'm ready to see more of him. I really hope this is a squad that could make some kind of miracle run for playoffs. Yagao flashes out after the QSS, keeps himself alive. Meteor in trouble here as he's CC'd up in the TP from Bin. He's in Gnar. Need to see that ultimate come on through before he turns mini. There we go, used defensively as the curtain call. Hits onto Elk. Root across the team, but LGD can't find their man.
Every ultimate burnt from the side of BLG, and it is still LGD coming out on top as Xiaoxu and the rest of his teammates full HP. The minions does die, but Baron spawning in about 30 seconds. Complete control in this topside jungle.
Now, JinJiao as well, worth mentioning. 5-0-3 in this game. He actually has tied for the most kills on LGD. He's got a Rylai's and a Morella Noblecon. This ain't no support Heimer anymore. This is a mid lane Heimer just in the support role. Like, the damage that this team is churning out is off the charts at this point.
He has the the most kills on LGD, tying with Xiaoxu, who managed to get a 1v2 upset. Oh, maybe JinJiao should be MVP this game.
Maybe, just maybe. He's certainly looking pretty good on the Heimerdinger. Found himself that kill onto Elk earlier on in the game, flashing forwards for the Ignite. I'm here for it, as Meteor has played this so incredibly slow, and he will be rewarded for it. The Gnar comes out. It's the rest of the team here for BLG. TP forced out from Yagao. And that means Haichao now has that TP advantage to the bottom side, but a fight forced by BLG. Haichao's TP immediately used. What an ultimate from Meteor. On there, the grenade doesn't find a stun though. Right across team. Here's the curtain call on. Popped into his second form and taken down. The fourth shot there. Xiaoxu poking them back. And will have to dash out by himself.
This Ksante isn't dying much. He's just unkillable. BLG definitely looking extremely scatty. Yagao with the ultimate.
He keeps them in there. Meteor stuck, but will dash out in the end. Curtain call not available. As Shun tries to escape the knockup, just ever so slightly shy from Haichao. Then try to finish off the flash forwards, and Haichao gets it. Another great play from the mid laner of LGD. They are feeling it today, and Xiaoxu, not to be outdone by his mid lane, forces the play further. Bin 1 HP out, can't get into the play here. As Yagao taken to himself here. LPC finishing the top laner. Yagao alone as Haichao closes the gap, and double kill for LPC. LGD are making this look stylish as they pick BLG apart.
Wrap it up, boys. That was the final deciding 5v5 coming out of BLG. Definitely looking extremely desperate and scattered all over the place. The Baron falls into the hands of LGD. I don't think BLG can come back into this game anymore.
Absolutely not. It's an 11,000 goal lead. It's an infernal soul. The only way is Elder Dragon. That's the only miracle the BLG could hope for at this point. But let's be honest. BLG win at this stage. They did not deserve to win. This would be a throw and a half.
Yeah, LGD definitely looking like the stronger team out of the two for tonight. But that wall from Yagao, we didn't mention it earlier, did stop 3 people from walking out, but the amount of flashes that came out of the bottom lane of LGD diffused it immediately, where you just have too much damage. I mean, Ksante already does so much on himself. The Inferno Soul Haichao once again.
Yeah, rest in peace, Elk. Caught out by Xiaoxu. And well, he makes it look easy. He just starts it off so beautifully. Here comes Meteor onto Shun as well. Ultimate not available. But hey, pick onto the enemy AD carry. I think you'll take that.
I would take that any day of the week, and I'll also take this win up against a team that is so much higher in the standings. Just taking a look at the items, Haichao having that GA, also the stopwatch in LPC's hand. These two are unkillable for this next team fight. The ADC is already down, but it looks like 2 inhibitors for the side of LGD.
Elder Dragon is on the map. Shun is alive. Smite will be available. Perhaps there is a small glimmer of hope for BLG if Shun can make an absolute miracle happen, but it will be precisely that. Meteor, no ultimate to get onto Shun here. Just charges forward, forces the flash. That's such a huge summoner burn from Shun in such an important moment with Elder Dragon available. Shun trying to clear vision on his own and punished. As LGD, they will not let BLG get away with anything. Half of Bin's health gone. Elk chunked out as well. As Haichao just starting to solo the Elder Dragons. There's no way in for BLG. LGD are playing this perfectly. As Xiaoxu now starts a fight in the mid lane. Curtain call comes out. This is 4v5 right now. And LGD are still winning it. Haichao now arrives on the scene. They've abandoned the Elder Dragon because who needs it?
They were just dancing with the idea of this Elder Dragon, forcing BLG to face check. I mean, you're up against JinJiao on this Heimerdinger with the Rylai's. It was getting so annoying for Shun. And we saw the TGs coming out of LGD. Well, not LGD, but from BLG. It doesn't matter anymore. You can't kill the enemy team. The Inferno Soul, the Elder Dragon, the Baron. 1 inhibitor down. This game is looking pretty much it, Munch.
It's looking like it might be over. And you've got to wonder what is happening in the BLG camp. Like 5 and 4 in the standings. Things should be going decently well, but You know, with games like this, like, how do you go back and forth this much? They took a game off of LNG. They took a game off of LNG. They 2-0 Ultra Prime. Like, this is a team that should be able to just get clean, comfortable 2-0s against teams that are so far down in the standings. LGD started this series in 15th place. BLG just, I don't know what it is that's going wrong for them, but something ain't working in this organization right now. And LGD more than happy to capitalize. What a monumental win this will be for them.
21-3 is the current scoreline in LGD's favor as they close the game out with nearly a 15-gold lead. I mean, we've been talking about BLG and their inconsistency, but this series really exposes their weakness and how Bin really needs to step up as that player who did play on Suning.
Yeah, Bin on as well, having a tough game number 3. Although had a decent series, game number 3 has been tough for him. LGD losing game number 1 in such immaculate fashion from BLG. The Gragas mid comes out in game number 2. Did not work for them. The composition not there. And now with Elder Dragon, it looks like game number 3 might just be over. Xiaoxu gets in the middle of everybody. Haichao trying to finish off Bin as well, tanking up 2 Nexus Towers, but the Nexus Towers might not belong for the world anymore. Bin being away here with the Elder buff, taken down, a double kill for Xiaoxu. Haichao with 1 as well, and Yagao next on the chopping block. LGD, they pick BLG apart, they take this series, and they show us that they are a team that you cannot count out.
Haichao looking extremely happy with the results of this series up against BLG. You see the despair that they have in the face cameras. Definitely very disappointed with this devastating loss, especially for game 3 where it went into an absolute spiral out of control. But LGD coming out on top, who would have guessed?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure many people were expecting this result today. Oh, wow. LGD. What a great performance. What a tremendous performance. Not just individually.